There's a reason your debt still lingers, no matter how much you work. There's a reason certain people keep crossing your path, people who drained your energy, broke your trust, or left you when you needed them most. And there's a reason peace feels just out of reach, like a door that won't open no matter how hard you knock. It's not bad luck, it's stuck energy, and most of us live with it without even knowing. It hides in the places we ignore, under the bed, behind the mirror, inside the drawer that holds old photos and unpaid bills. It clings to objects. It embeds itself in your home. And over time, it turns your space into a silent magnet for more of the same pain. But here's the part no one tells you: you can release it. And all you need is salt. Not a special kind from a hidden store, not blessed by a guru. Just the salt already in your kitchen, used with precision, intention, and one deeply personal act. This isn't a trend. This isn't about beliefs. This is about physics and energy and the choice to stop being weighed down by what isn't yours. In the next few minutes, I'll guide you through a salt ritual that has helped countless women cut ties with old debt, release emotional heaviness, and shift the energy in their homes so profoundly, even their sleep feels different. If you've been waiting for a sign, this is it. The shift you've needed starts now, and it begins with a single pinch of salt. Part 1. Why salt has the power to shift your destiny. You've walked past it 100 times. Maybe today, it's sitting in your kitchen next to the pepper. Maybe it's tucked in the back of the pantry in a container that hasn't been touched in weeks. Just salt, ordinary, familiar, easy to ignore. But what if I told you that this everyday mineral holds the power to change everything you thought was unchangeable? Not because it's magical, but because it's energetic. The truth is, salt is not just a seasoning. It's an ancient, silent force. It doesn't just flavor food, it absorbs, it binds, it neutralizes. And when used intentionally, it doesn't just shift taste, it shifts energy. You may not think about energy often, but you feel it every day. The moment you walk into a room that makes your chest feel heavy for no reason. The way certain corners of your home feel cold no matter the temperature. That lingering tension you can't explain after someone leaves your house. That's energy. And when it's blocked, stagnant, or chaotic, it affects everything. Your finances, your sleep, your relationships, even your sense of purpose. Salt, in its rawest form, is the Earth's purifier. It's one of the only substances on this planet that absorbs energy without judgment. It doesn't ask where the pain came from. It doesn't care who's to blame. It just holds, filters, and clears. That's why hospitals used to clean wounds with salt water. That's why ocean air feels lighter, clearer. That's why tears, the body's own salt water, accompany moments of release. Your body knows what your mind sometimes forgets: salt heals. But healing isn't always about emotion. It's about physics. Salt draws out moisture, it draws out density, it draws out what no longer belongs. And in a spiritual context, that means it draws out the invisible weight we carry, the unresolved debt, the betrayal still echoing, the years of self-neglect that no amount of productivity can silence. That's why salt has been used across cultures, not as a superstition, but as a tool. From scattering it at doorways to soaking in salt baths to placing it in the corners of homes, salt has always stood quietly between us and the energy we can't see but always feel. And in today's world, cluttered, overstimulated, emotionally draining, its role has only grown more important. The modern home is full of noise, even when it's quiet. Notifications, unfinished to-do lists, memories tied to objects we haven't touched in years. It's no wonder so many of us feel stuck, even when everything looks fine on paper. Salt helps you unstick. It breaks the loop. It gives form to the release. And most importantly, it doesn't require belief to work, only respect. The moment you place a bowl of salt in the right space, with the right intent, you've given your home permission to shift. You've told the old weight, you're not welcome here anymore. You've told the universe, I'm clearing room for something new. And that's when the shift begins, not because of a chant, not because of a ritual, but because you made space. Space is everything. Money needs space to flow. Peace needs space to settle. Forgiveness needs space to return. And if you're holding onto years of energetic clutter through objects, memories, unresolved conversations, nothing new can truly take root. Salt isn't the solution, it's the tool. You are the solution. And when you use salt intentionally, you activate the part of you that is ready, not just to clean, but to let go. Not just to organize, but to release. Not just to move on, but to transform. So if you've been feeling heavy lately, like your progress keeps hitting an invisible wall, if your house feels dim even on bright days, if your goals feel distant and your past feels loud, it may not be your mindset. It may be the energy that's been sitting silently in your space, waiting to be cleared, waiting for a sign. This is that sign, and salt is where it starts. Part 2. Common mistakes that make salt hold bad luck. You might think simply sprinkling salt is enough. You've read that salt clears energy, blocks negativity, restores balance, and it does. But only if used correctly. The truth most people don't hear is this: salt doesn't just cleanse, it collects. It absorbs everything: fear, anger, resentment, the quiet grief you don't talk about. And if you're careless with how you use it, all that energy stays trapped. Not released, not healed, just recycled right back into your space. That's why some people do the ritual and still feel worse. Why they cleanse their home but arguments return, money remains stuck, and sleep feels broken. The ritual didn't fail. They simply made one of 3 common mistakes. Mistakes that silently sabotage the power of salt and leave you wondering why things don't shift. Mistake number 1, using the wrong kind of salt. Table salt, the one you find in restaurant shakers or pre-packaged in your kitchen, has been chemically treated, bleached, and often mixed with anti-caking agents. It may be fine for food, but energetically it's dead. It doesn't absorb, it doesn't purify, it just looks like salt. For this ritual, you need raw, unrefined salt, coarse sea salt, Himalayan salt, or natural rock salt. These types hold the energetic imprint of the earth, unchanged, untampered, and alive. They absorb deeply because they're still in their natural form. If you use the wrong salt, the ritual becomes cosmetic, like dusting without cleaning. Mistake number 2, performing the ritual with a scattered mind. Energy follows intention, and salt doesn't work because of what it is, it works because of what you bring to it. If you're rushing, angry, multitasking, or even just emotionally numb while performing the ritual, the salt mirrors that. It collects what you carry. And if what you carry is noise, doubt, or resentment, the salt holds it. And it stays in your space. That's why grounding is essential. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to be spiritual. You just need to be present. 5 minutes of silence before you begin, just to breathe, to settle, to quiet the noise, can be the difference between a ritual that heals and a ritual that haunts. Mistake number 3, disposing of the salt the wrong way. This is the one almost everyone gets wrong. They pour it down the sink, flush it in the toilet, or toss it in the trash. What's the harm? It's just salt, right? No. Once the salt has done its job, it's no longer just salt. It's now holding every ounce of energy you wanted to release. And when you leave it in your home, through your plumbing, your trash bin, your countertops, that energy circulates back. It doesn't leave, it lingers. You wouldn't wash a dirty rag and hang it over your bed. You wouldn't clean a wound and pour the used water into your drinking glass. Energy works the same way. Once it's collected, it must be returned, not to your house, but to the earth. That's why proper disposal matters. That's why we release it at crossroads or into flowing water where energy moves forward, not back. So if you've ever thought, I tried a ritual and nothing changed, look here first. Was the salt alive? Was your mind still? Did you truly let it go, or did you keep it nearby, just in a different form? The ritual isn't broken. But when done wrong, it loses its edge. It dulls. Worse, it backfires. You become stuck in a cycle of repeated clearing, repeated fatigue, repeated hope that fizzles into nothing. But once you correct these 3 mistakes, everything shifts. The energy clears fully. Your space breathes again. Your body sleeps deeper. Opportunities feel lighter. It's not luck, it's alignment. And salt, when honored properly, will always meet you there. Part 3. Preparing the ritual is like rearranging the soul. It's tempting to think the ritual begins with salt. But it doesn't. It begins with how you prepare. Because how you prepare sets the tone for what you allow in, and more importantly, what you're willing to let go of. Preparing this ritual isn't about gathering items. It's about rearranging the soul. You are not just cleaning your space. You are creating a container for change. And if you skip this step or rush through it like a task on a checklist, you risk turning something sacred into something hollow. Start with your materials, but touch them with care. You'll need 3 things: coarse, unprocessed salt, sea salt, rock salt, or Himalayan salt, a clean bowl, and 1 personal object. Each has purpose. The salt holds the energy. The bowl contains it, and the personal object connects the ritual to you. Don't overlook this part. That object, whether it's a ring you wear every day, a key you always carry, or a coin that's sat in your wallet for years, holds your frequency. It has absorbed your routine, your emotions, your intentions. When salt surrounds that object, it doesn't just cleanse the item. It reaches into your energetic field and begins to untangle what's been stuck. Choose your bowl with intention. Not just any container will do. It should be physically clean, no stains, no residue, and energetically neutral. Avoid using anything you cook or eat from. If you have a decorative bowl that feels special, use it. Glass, ceramic, wood, whatever feels still, grounded, and undisturbed. This bowl becomes the vessel for the ritual, like a sacred altar in miniature. The moment you place your salt in it, you're not just setting up, you're inviting alignment. Now the most overlooked part, timing. People often ask, when is the best time to do this? The answer isn't about superstition or astrology. It's about energetic readiness. The most powerful moments to perform this ritual are early morning, before the world has touched you, or late at night, when everything external has gone quiet. Morning is for intention. It's the energy of beginnings, of clarity, of claiming. Night is for release. It's when your home softens, when memories rise, when your body is ready to exhale what it's held all day. You don't need incense or chants. You just need a moment when your space is undisturbed, your phone is off, and your presence is whole. Hear what this isn't a performance. This isn't about getting it right. It's about being real. If you feel uncertain, that's okay. If you feel emotional, even better. Energy doesn't respond to perfection, it responds to honesty. What matters most is your presence. When you take your time, when you prepare with thoughtfulness, you signal to the universe that you're not just going through motions, you're ready. You're not just cleaning, you're shifting. You're not just hoping for peace, you're creating the conditions for it. And that's why preparation matters. Not because it's dramatic, but because it makes space for something new. And until you make space, nothing can truly arrive. So gather your items, clean your bowl, choose your object. Breathe before you begin, because when you do, you're not just preparing a ritual. You're rearranging the way your energy meets your life. And that, changes everything. Part 4, the breath, the silent bridge that begins the ritual. Before your hands move, before the salt touches the bowl, there is one doorway you must pass through, and that is your breath. Breath is not just a function, it is a threshold. And if you cross it with awareness, everything on the other side becomes softer, clearer, and more aligned. If you skip it, your ritual will still happen, but it will feel like a song played through static. The salt may still absorb, but it won't connect. It won't listen, because your body wasn't truly present to speak. Most people don't realize that breath is energy in motion. It's the first thing you do when you're born and the last thing you'll do before you leave this world. And yet, somewhere along the way, we begin to take it for granted. We breathe shallow. We rush through life. And we wonder why we feel anxious, foggy, disconnected. You cannot clear energy with that kind of breath. It's like trying to light a candle in the wind. It flickers, it falters, it never steadies. The breath required for this ritual is simple, but it is sacred. It doesn't need to be forced, complicated, or performative. You don't need to count or hold. You simply need to become aware, sit comfortably, spine tall, hands resting gently on your lap or near the bowl, and begin to notice the inhale, the pause, the exhale, nothing fancy, just truth. Imagine each inhale pulling in light, clean, quiet, steady. Imagine each exhale releasing weight, tension from your shoulders, static in your mind, heaviness in your chest. Keep going until you feel something shift. It may take a minute, it may take 10, but you will know. There will be a moment when your thoughts settle like dust in a still room, when your heartbeat no longer feels like a clock ticking, when the silence becomes comforting, not empty. That moment is your entry point. That is the space where intention becomes possible, where salt stops being an object and starts becoming a partner. Without that breath, you're only going through motions. With it, you're entering a field where energy can actually respond to you. And the beauty of it is, you don't have to do anything else. You don't have to recite. You don't have to posture. You just have to breathe softly and fully, like someone who is finally ready to be here. So before you reach for the salt, reach inward. Close your eyes. Let the world fall away for just a moment. Let your breath draw you into the quiet space where clarity lives. This is not just preparation, it's permission. It tells the salt, the space, the universe, I'm here, I'm ready, I am not afraid to let go. And from that place, the ritual can truly begin. Part 5, visualizing release, like dust fading in morning light. This is the part most people avoid, because it asks you to see what you've worked so hard to ignore. But true release doesn't happen by wishing something away. It happens when you allow yourself to look at it fully, gently, without judgment. Visualizing release is not about replaying pain. It's about witnessing it for the last time so it can finally leave. Like opening a window after a long winter, not to fight the cold air, but to let the stale breath of the past dissolve into something fresher. Once your breath has settled and the room is still, you close your eyes, not to shut the world out, but to turn your gaze inward. This is where the real work begins. Imagine with full honesty the weight you're carrying, not in vague terms like stress or bad vibes, but in the form of actual debts, names, moments, the credit card you dread opening, the loan that never seems to shrink, the face of someone who hurt you but never said sorry. Picture them not as villains, not as burdens, but as energetic forms that no longer belong in your life. They're not here to hurt you again. They're here to be seen and released. See the numbers of your debts fade one by one like ink disappearing in sunlight. Feel your chest expand as the pressure loosens. See the people who caused pain standing quietly, not to argue, but to bow their heads. You don't need to speak, you don't need to fight. You just need to allow the image to unfold, them stepping back slowly, gently out of your field. because you are no longer holding them, because their presence is no longer welcome in the energy you now choose to live in. This is not imagination. This is realignment. Visualization is your mind's way of giving shape to what your soul already knows, that the past has done enough. That it's time for your body, your space, and your future to stop being weighed down by things that can no longer be changed. And in this space, soft, clear, unburdened, you begin to feel a shift, a lightness. Like when sunlight finally reaches the darkest corner of a room. Like dust lifting into air and disappearing without resistance. This is what letting go truly looks like. Not dramatic, not loud, but complete. You don't have to get it perfect. You don't need to cry or feel anything specific. The act of seeing is enough. Seeing the pain, seeing the pattern, seeing the parts of your life you've carried for far too long, and then watching them leave without needing them to explain themselves. This is the silent power of the ritual. This is why the salt listens, because now you're not just thinking about release, you're living it inside the quiet theater of your own mind, and what's seen with presence can finally be cleared with power. From here, you move forward, not as someone trying to fix the past, but as someone who has made peace with it. And peace, once invited in, has a way of staying. Part 6. Sprinkle salt and speak your declaration. Now that your body is still, your breath steady, and your inner vision clear, it's time for the most defining moment of the ritual, the act of declaring. This is when salt moves from symbol to conduit. It's the moment your words shape energy. It's when you stop hoping for change and begin commanding it. Don't let the simplicity fool you. A handful of salt, placed with intention and spoken over with truth, carries more power than hours of thinking or wishing. Because in this moment, you're not just releasing energy, you're reclaiming yourself. Gently pick up the bowl of salt. Let your hands move slowly, not with ceremony, but with presence. Look at your personal object resting beneath or within the salt. That ring, that coin, that key, it's soaked in your energy, your days, your longing. Now it becomes the bridge between the old weight and the new intention. And with your breath calm and your vision aligned, it's time to speak. Say the words clearly, deliberately. Salt, spirit of earth and fire, cleanse me. Restore what is rightfully mine. Repeat it 3 times, not like a chant, not like a memorized line, but as if each word is a note unlocking something long held shut. Speak it like you mean it, even if your voice trembles. Speak it like a promise, even if you're not sure what happens next. The words aren't just sound, they are vibration. They ripple through the salt, through the space, through you. Feel what rises. Some people feel warmth, some a quiet stillness. Others sense a drop in tension, like something heavy just loosened its grip. Let that happen. Let the energy move. You don't need to control it. You just need to stay with it. This is the part most people skip. They rush the words, then look around, waiting for something to happen. But the real shift happens in the silence that follows the declaration. It happens in the stillness your body holds after truth has been spoken. This is not a performance. You don't need anyone to witness it. What matters is that the salt witnessed it. And once it has, it begins to work. Not as a charm, not as superstition, but as a vessel carrying your clarity back into your life. Speaking your declaration isn't about volume, it's about resonance. If it feels quiet, good. If it feels unfamiliar, even better. That means you're speaking from a place you haven't accessed in a while, a part of you that's not filtered by fear or doubt or habit. A deeper part, a true part. And in this moment, you've done something many never do. You've drawn a boundary with your energy. You've spoken your desire with clarity. You've told your body, your home, your spirit. I'm ready to let this go. I'm ready to call something new in. That's not small, that's not passive, that's power. And it all begins with a pinch of salt and a sentence spoken like a sacred vow. Let it echo, let it land, and most of all, let it lead. Part 7, Disposing the Salt, the final door to let go. You've done the breath work, you've seen what needed to be released, you've spoken your truth. The ritual is nearly complete, but there's one final step. And it's the one most people overlook. Disposing of the salt. It sounds simple, throw it out, wash it away. But if you do that, if you treat this last step like an afterthought, you risk undoing everything you've just cleared. Because the salt isn't neutral anymore. It's not just a mineral, it's a container. It now holds every ounce of pain, confusion, resentment, energetic weight that you asked it to absorb. If you leave it in your space, even tucked away in the trash or washed down your sink, that energy stays. It doesn't go anywhere. It lingers. And eventually it begins to circle back into your sleep, your conversations, your energy field. The ritual becomes incomplete. The door never fully closes. Disposing of the salt is the act of release. It's the moment you say, "This no longer belongs to me. I'm done." And to do it well, you have to return it to a place that can carry it away. There are two safe, powerful ways to do this, ways that honor what the salt has done and make sure what it holds never finds its way back. The first, take it to a crossroads. Crossroads have long been seen as places of transition, where paths split, where energy disperses. When you scatter the salt at a crossroads, you are offering the weight you carried to the universe, trusting it will be scattered, dissolved, reabsorbed far from your home and your body. You don't have to say anything elaborate. You can simply whisper, "Thank you, leave me now," and walk away without looking back. The second, release it into flowing water. A stream, a river, a shoreline, any body of water that moves. Flowing water is nature's purifier. It receives, cleanses, carries away. Pour the salt in gently. Let it sink, dissolve, vanish. And as you do, say quietly or in your heart, "All that no longer serves me has left. Only peace remains." Then stand still for a moment and feel what it's like to finally be without the weight. What you must never do is keep it in your house. Never flush it, never throw it in the kitchen trash, never leave it sitting just until later. That's like cleaning your home and dumping the dirty water into your bed. You've worked too hard. You've gone too deep. Let the ritual complete itself with respect. And here's something beautiful. When you dispose of the salt properly, your body knows. You'll feel it. A lightness. A space opening inside you that's not emotional, it's energetic. The kind of space that new ideas, new relationships, new blessings can enter. Because you've made room, because the door is finally open. So many people begin the process of change but never finish it. They start clearing but stop before release. Don't do that. Don't half close this chapter. This final act is what seals the shift. It's what tells the universe, "I'm serious. I'm done carrying this." And when you mean it, when you release with clarity, the energy never comes back the same. It transforms, and so do you. Final, not everything you carry belongs to you. Some of it is debt passed down through family. Some is pain left behind by people who never apologized. Some of it is fear so old you forgot when it started, but it still shapes the way you move through the world. You don't see it every day, but you feel it. In the way money slips through your fingers, in the way your chest tightens when the room gets quiet, in the way you clean the house but never quite feel settled. That's not coincidence. That's stuck energy. What we've done here isn't magic, it's physics. Salt absorbs, breath regulates. Intention realigns. Everything you've just experienced, visualizing, speaking, releasing, it all taps into something both ancient and practical. The body's ability to recognize safety, the home's ability to hold emotion, and the nervous system's ability to reset when given the right conditions. There's a reason you felt lighter after the breath work. A reason why stillness made space for clarity. A reason why your body softened when the salt touched your object and you spoke what needed to be spoken. You weren't just doing a ritual. You were reprogramming the way energy moves through your space and through you. We live in a world that teaches us to clean surfaces but ignore sensations, to pay off bills but not notice the panic that comes before opening one, to forgive others but never discharge what still lives in our chest. And we wonder why nothing ever really feels finished. But here's the truth. Energy doesn't just go away because you say you're done. It moves when you move it. It leaves when you open the door. And rituals like this are simply that, doors. Quiet, personal, powerful openings where what no longer serves you can finally be released, and what's meant for you can finally return. You didn't just sprinkle salt. You gave shape to a shift. You showed your nervous system what safety feels like. You told your body, this is peace, this is clarity, this is the new path. And maybe for the first time in a long time, your space feels different. Not louder, not busier, just cleaner, quieter, like something heavy has finally been lifted. That's not your imagination. That's what it feels like when you stop carrying what isn't yours. So tonight, as the house settles and the noise fades, listen. Listen to what it feels like to no longer be holding so much. That stillness you hear. That's the sound of your life making room for what comes next.